push on the bump for 80.
Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners. Hello and welcome to Special Stage. It's the final round of the Mintex British Historic Rally Championship and we're in the deepest, darkest depths of Dalby Forest, just waiting for the crews to finish the night stage. Loads of championship battles still ongoing, but before we bring you the action, let's find out what crews are here this weekend. So Jason Pritchard leads the way. He just has to get a good finish this weekend to take the championship. Matthew Robinson is out once again on his home stages this time, and we see a return of Adam Milner in Category 2 this weekend. Onto the stages then, and just one run through Dalby in the dark, and for Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis, things were going well. They lead the way with a 26-second advantage in this one stage alone, but a few moments in the stage would show they were pushing hard.
No, it was all right. It was fine in there. Right. The car was still running all right, so the tyres are working all right. A little bit sketchy at the front. I made a couple of small mistakes, but yeah, no, not so bad really.
Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark were doing what they needed to do for the championship. Second place for now, the pace may not be 100%, but they needed to finish. And of course, last year's event ended after rolling the car early on.
Not too bad, steady away. It was very slippy and they were quite surprised, and it's hard to find the rhythm because, you know, we haven't got a race for anything, we just got to finish, so it's hard, but that's one stage to go down, 5 to go.
Sadly for Steve Bennett and Paul Spooner, the progress was slowed a little when the intercom failed in this stage, resulting in hand signals, until the map light also failed and left them driving blind. They do end the stage with third place though, so it wasn't over yet. So just the one stage in the dark, how's it gone?
Well, I was really looking forward to it. Dalby's a fantastic place to be in the dark, but we had really bad interference on the intercom right from the start. Couldn't hear the fast corners at all. We were down to hand instructions, and to make it worse, and then the map light gave up, so we drove it blind virtually, so we lost a lot of time. Probably
the worst kind of stage for that to happen in the dark.
Yeah. I was so looking forward to it. I love it in the dark, but it's very difficult to drive when don't know where you're going.
Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons were not fans of the dark. They just wanted to get through today and into the daylight tomorrow. Things go well though, and they end the day with 4th place. One stage down then, how did it go?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Not a massive level of dark, so just wanted to get through really. So we've done what we set out to do. So.
Yeah. Any issues in there?
No, not really. Just a bit fast.
A few people saying that it's a bit slippy.
Yeah, there's a couple of grassy sections which are really quite dodgy. But we'll see what we can do in the day.
Yeah. The dark wasn't a problem for Chris Skill and Tom Jordan, but a steamed up windscreen would be. They lie in 5th place now and hold a class lead too. A few people are struggling to adjust to gravel and dark. How are you finding it?
Well, we had a good start. We went into the stage really quite quick. Then the car just steamed up, and I couldn't see I couldn't see anything.
Steamy, actually.
Yeah, and I put the demissives on. It didn't do a great deal, so I was trying to clear the screen. But when you're only sort of like looking through a small gap, it's quite difficult, and it spoiled the stage. But hopefully, it won't happen tomorrow.
For Mark and Ed Bentley, it would be 6th. An overshoot in the stage had lost them some time, but with the stages catching many out, it would be a case of who lost the least amount of time in there. How are things going?
Good. We have it's the first bit of the stage was about 3/4 of a kilometre just straight, and I managed to get all excited because I knew the lads were watching on the corner, so we overshot by about 20 yards. So
that's what happens when you show off, isn't it?
I know, that's right. You shouldn't tell me where they're watching, but other than that, no, it was great. We enjoyed that. It was good.
Barry Stevenson Wheeler and John Pickavance would be glad to get back onto the gravel after Rally Isle of Man. 7th place for now, and 3rd in the D5 class was theirs. Having a good evening?
Yeah, good. I enjoyed that. Yeah. Good to get back on the gravel. Bit different from 2 weeks ago, obviously.
Right, yeah.
Just had a bit of a moment, that's all in there. We kind of had an half spin, but we're lucky not to collect anything. So, but yeah, it's good. It's just the surface is a bit sketchy, you know. Places it's really grassy, places it's really slippy, but so no, it's good. I'm happy with that.
Just getting into it now, and you're gonna have to go and go to bed.
I know. I said just get all excited and then time to pack up. But yeah, no, it's great.
Sean Rayner and Declan Deere struggle a little in this stage. The transition back from the tarmac of the Isle of Man probably not helping. They have an overshoot, but they get away without any damage to lie in 8th place for now. How are things?
I struggled a bit in there. I had a massive overshoot on the junction and seemed to go on forever before we stopped. It was a long way to reverse back, so yeah, so not best pleased with that, to be honest, but we're still here and have to reset things in the morning and push on, I guess.
Yeah, I think a few people are struggling with the transition from tarmac to gravel. Do you think that might be what the problem is?
I think it was a lot to do with that. It did feel very slippery out there, but a lot of people say that, don't they? Yeah. But yeah, well, reset. I think we had the tyre pressures probably a bit hard as well. Felt very loose. So we'll see how we get on tomorrow.
No problems for Phil and Mick Squires. The feeling wasn't great. Like many others, the transition back to gravel was taking some getting used to. For now, they lie in 9th place. Hello there, nice to see you up in Yorkshire. How are things?
Oh, fantastic. It just reminds me of that first time I went ice skating and I couldn't stand up. Well, when I went off that start line, up that first straight, I felt like I couldn't stand up any longer. It was, transition back to gravel, I suppose, off the tarmac, but it's exciting.
I think it's catching a few people out tonight.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Is it every year I come here and I think the same, have I lost it? Or is it just me or everybody? But it's just excitement, I think.
And rounding out the top 10 were Rex Island and Adrian Scadding. They lose the spotlights midway through the stages, so visibility wasn't the best. Hello, your car looks a little bit damaged. Is that something that you did today?
I don't know. I haven't looked yet. To be honest, we did have a couple of sort of wide bursts and things in there, but we lost the spotlights fairly early on, which made it a little bit difficult. But we got through there okay. So
did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed some of it. Some of it wasn't quite so good because it was a job to see, especially with my old eyes, but never mind.
Well, enjoy tomorrow.
Lovely, thanks.
A new co-driver for Mike Reed this weekend with Steve McNulty sat alongside him. Things were mixed at the moment, all going well until a spin lost them some time. Mike Tompkinson and Sean Whitehurst would have issues with the lights. They knocked them in this stage when they went wide on a corner, and the rest of the stage would have to be done without. They lie in 12th place for now. For Paul Holmes and Steve Link, it will be 13th place in the category and 5th place in the class. The first time on these stages for Holmes, so it was taking some getting used to. Sadly for Simon Webster and Jez Rogers, it would be engine problems. They'd reached the end of the stage, but down in last place. However, they would retire soon afterwards. So with one stage down in the RSR Historic Engineering Category 3, the results at the top look like this. In Category 2, it would be the lead for Adam Milner and Roy Jarvis, returning to the stages after some time away. Things were going well, but there were a few moments in the stage to make the feeling in the car a little different to what the results were saying. I think it's been quite a while out the seat for you, is that right?
Yeah, I haven't driven since the Severn Valley, and you can probably tell by that stage time.
Oh dear, not good.
Yeah, I used reverse 3 times.
That's not the way that you're meant to do it, did you know?
Yeah.
What happened?
We've had a flat-out week getting the car ready, and it had no brakes this morning. We couldn't get any brakes. We forgot a battery for the intercom, and the intercom didn't work right before the start, so we had a panic going back for a battery for the intercom. We just had a bit of a nightmare, really, and then we managed to overtake Stig in that last stage, so it can't be all bad.
For Warren Philliskirk and Nigel Hutchinson, it would be second. Things going well, the stages were a little slippery in places, but it was still enjoyable for the pair. Do you know these stages well? How are they going?
They were different to what I remember them. They were overgrown quite a lot, and there was a lot of loose stone at the start, and it was very slippery, and it was a bit rough, but no, we got through. We just went steady away at our own pace and enjoyed it.
Jeremy Easton and Mike Reynolds, like many others, would get caught out in this stage and overshoot one of the junctions. No damage done though, and they end this stage with 3rd place in the category. We're getting mixed reviews from that stage. How did you find it?
Well, it's one hell of a stage and a right challenge in the dark. Yeah. But there's a real tricky K-right downhill over a crest, and we just went straight on. But somebody else had already been through the tapes as well. So I'm sure I wasn't the only one.
You definitely weren't the only one, no.
But we got it round on the handbrake without losing too much and got back on the right road. But that was a challenge.
Yes. Well, you need a good night's sleep now and then to do it all again tomorrow.
We do. We need a nice little pub somewhere and something to eat, and away we go.
Lovely. Terry Cree and Richard Shaw's make a good start to the event with 4th place. The times were looking good and they lead the way in the class as well. A new car this weekend, and indeed a new co-driver for Aziz Tejpar. Alistair Crook filling in on the notes this weekend. It will be the first time sitting in the car this evening, so it was all about settling in. How's your evening gone?
Very good.
Yeah.
Interesting new car. I haven't sat in it till this evening.
Wow.
So we're just trying to get used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and are you feeling like you're getting used to it?
I love it. It's brilliant.
Good.
Yeah, we can throw it a lot more than the other one.
Unfortunately for Mark Tugwell and Steve Pugh, things hadn't gone to plan in this stage. They reached the end with some of the scenery still attached to the front of the car, but they were still going and in 6th place. You look to be dragging half of Dolby Forest on the front of your car. What happened?
We were going well.
And then?
And then we didn't go so well, but I think it's only superficial.
Yeah. What actually happened?
Too fast, one of the numerous 90 lefts. And just couldn't quite make it.
Do you think that the dark made it worse?
Nah, driver.
For Stuart and Linda Carris, it would just be a case of seeing in the dark that was the problem, not a fan of the night stages. They get through in one piece, ready for a push in the daylight.
Well, I can't say as I enjoy dark stages. 71-year-old eyes, you know, they're not the best, but when you get to Bob behind and they're nearly 80-year-old eyes...
You've got no excuse.
No, I've got no excuse, exactly. And he wasn't far behind us, the old... I won't say that in case you print this. But, no, it was okay.
Good.
But
you're here to tell the tale?
That's it. We're here, that's it. I enjoyed it, but I prefer the daylight.
And for Malcolm Bayliss and Siobhan Pugh, it would be 8th, one of many to overshoot a junction, backing off a little after that in order to get through to the finish. You having a good evening?
Yeah, I'm sweating again. This is the story of my life, this is. Yeah, it was all right. We overshot one junction, and then, I don't know, the dust seems to be hanging on the long straight, so rather than stuff it off in the trees, we're trying to get the finish.
So at the end of the opening stage in the Capital Construction Category 2, the results at the top look like this. Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners. Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners. Just the 2 cars this weekend in Category 1, and it would be the lead for Bob Bean and Captain Thompson. They take the early advantage, a big fan of rallying in the dark, so everything was going to plan. How are things going?
Oh, yes, not bad.
Yes. You're having fun?
Yes, it's been quite a nice stage, that, really.
And second in the category would be Phil Harris and Paul Kendrick, the first time in the forest in the dark with the car, and the first time this pair had sat together, so they'll be glad to get some miles behind them now. How did things go this evening then?
Well, it was quite slippy in there and quite bumpy, but great fun. It's good fun, yeah. First time we've had it in the forest in the dark, so that was an interesting experience.
Yeah, it's a steep learning curve, isn't it, in the dark?
Yeah, very much so, and it's the first time I've sat in with Paul as well, so I've got a new co-driver. But the old girl goes well. Yeah, she's flying, yeah, she's good.
So with just the 2 crews fighting in the Vintage Car Radiator Company Category 1, the results look like this. So here we are, the beginning of day 2, a long day of rallying here in Dolby Forest. The sun's shining, I think the stage is still a little bit slippery and the crews have got a lot of miles to cover today. So let's head out there to stages to bring you all the action. On to day 2, and there'll be no change to the lead as Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis extended the advantage at the front to almost a minute now. Matthew finding the car to be a bit of a handful compared to the Escorts. You having a good run?
I feel knackered, Abby, steering this. It's just not as, you know, just not as easy as the Escort. Probably it's getting there, but yeah, no, it's we're pretty pleased with where we're at, I suppose. But you know, we'd like to have been a bit nearer to Banner there up at the front, but I don't suppose it's him who we're really racing. But
this year's really been a big trial for you and for this car, hasn't it? Obviously, we're at the end of the year now. How do you think it has gone?
Not great. Well, it was all right, but you know, we've just had all sorts of problems. We've had a year full of problems, really, and it's just getting going now. So if we can do a little bit more to the steering, and a little bit more with the tyres, you know, hopefully we can close the gap down. The gap's not massive today, you know, to some of the fastest guys. So yeah, no, I'm pretty pleased, really. The car feels strong today. Maybe could, I don't know. It feels sometimes like it could do with a bit more power, but. We'll see what we can do. We'll get a few more rallies over the winter with it and see what we can do.
Things were going well for Steve Bennett and Paul Spooner this morning. They moved up to second place now the intercom was working properly and they were able to push once again. How's your run gone this morning?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good. Yeah, we're a little bit too cautious on the braking. I can't quite get the balance on the brakes, but yeah, the car's good. Driving all right. Yeah, nice and
Stages,
steady.
they were quite slippery last night.
Yeah, they were. We went for a softer tyre on the rear, so the tyres have worked well. Out of the slippery junctions has worked well, so I think we've gained a bit there and lost a bit on the braking, so if we get the two together, we'll be all right.
Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark dropped down a place this morning into third. There'd be a sense of frustration for the pair as they try to balance the speed between pushing for a result and just making sure they get to the finish without any problems.
150, middle small crest long, only 60, slowing for line into 6 right over junction, ditch outside. 40, middle through the post, 100 up the middle, 100 up the middle, to 1 right half long, then 130 to bus top chicane on the right.
A bit dusty, how are things?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Very steady away. Got caught by one of the modern cars on that stage, and I haven't done that since the first year I've been in rallying. So, you know, it's part of the game. We've got to finish, and I look like a fool if I put it off, and I might look like a fool if I drive slow. But you know, I'd rather be a fool that wins the championship than a fool that puts it off.
Chris Gill and Tom Jordan continue a good run to lie fourth now. They didn't feel the first stage of the day went too well, but the times were there, and they were certainly going well. How are things going today, Chris?
Steady first stage was just couldn't get into it, but that last stage, I think Langdale, excellent, really good.
What was it this morning then that was making you back off, do you think?
I don't know. I think might be because I had a poor run last night and I was just not in the groove. But certainly on the last one, it felt a lot better, and you were getting nice long straights, so you could really get your confidence back. And now we can have a bit of a push now, I hope.
Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons were not looking at the times, just driving to a pace that they felt was okay, and it was working. They lie in 5th place now and leading their class battle this weekend. How's this morning gone?
Yeah, not too bad. Not no time, so just doing our own thing really. So.
But how did it feel? How's the car feeling today?
Yeah, it feels good. We've knocked the track on out. We hit a couple of bad bumps in there, so hopefully rectify that in service now.
Their battle would be with Sean Rayner and Declan Deere. They make a tyre change in this morning's stages and the car felt much better. The gap to Friend was only 1.4 seconds at the end of this morning's stages. Having a better run out today?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, we changed the tyres, let the pressures down, and the car just feels so much better. I mean, we just looked at the times, we're really going well. Just 1.4 seconds behind Ben now, I think. Yeah, really pleased. Keep going like that, I think.
No problems for Barry Stevenson Wheeler and John Pickavance. They were more than happy with the way things were going this morning, enjoying the stages and getting into a good rhythm. They lie in 7th place now. People seem to be enjoying it more today than yesterday. A fan of it in daylight.
Yeah, well, I don't think, not necessarily just that. I think that last stage is, I'd say it was definitely an escort stage. So, yeah, I have a good sweat and a good smile after that one. So, yeah, really good. Enjoyed that.
Just behind them on the time were Mark and Ed Bentley, themselves not having any issues to report and making it through the stages in 8th place. Got a good smile on your face, having fun?
Yeah, it was good fun in there. Yeah, I think. I don't think we particularly put a foot wrong for a change. So no, it's nice and steady, quite quick in places. But no, it was good fun.
Phil and Mick Squires were getting into it more as the day went on. 9th place was theirs now, as well as 4th in the D5 class. Having a good run out this morning?
Yeah, I think we're revving up a bit now, getting the feel of it. It's exciting. It's just got to bring it all back. Bring it all back.
Rein it back in. It's not the end yet.
That's it. Yeah, we're just getting going now. We need to come back tomorrow and do it all again, really. Have a bit of practice today and nail it tomorrow.
Last night was the practice. This is when you need to really put your foot down and concentrate.
That's it. Yeah, perhaps I'm a little bit behind, but yeah, very enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable.
Rex Ireland and Adrian Scadding have a small off in this morning's stages, bending the front end a little, but thankfully just cosmetic, and they're able to continue and lie in 10th place. Now, there's definitely something that you've done to your car. Do you know what?
Yeah, we went off a little bit in the first stage, probably about 3 miles in. Just caught us out a bit too slippery, and we just went wide and hit a bit of a bank and stuff. So
Yeah, I think a few people were struggling to get into it this morning, but
Yeah.
that last stage, I think, for a lot of people went quite well. How did it go for you?
yeah, it went really well. I mean, we've been struggling in the class all year, but we've made a bit of ground up, I think now. So
Good.
quite pleased. Calm down a bit.
Yes, and hopefully you'll be able to get that car sorted.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Good. Mike Tompkinson and Sian Whitehurst were playing things safe. They had an entry for Rally GB as a birthday present for Mike and wanted to make sure they get the car back in one piece this weekend, so 11th place for now. No issues to report for Paul Holmes and Steve Link. They reached the end of this loop with 12th place, but they did feel the pace was better in the dark last night than it was this morning. And it will be bad luck for Mike Reed and Steve McNulty. They crash out in this morning's stages. They make it back to service, but understandably they don't continue. So at the end of stage 3, the results in the RSR Historic Engineering Category 3 look like this. In Category 2, there will be no change at the top. Adam Milner and Roy Jarvis have a good run without any of the mistakes of last night, and in the loop with 30 seconds of a lead in that place. How are things going this morning then?
Really good, yeah. A lot better than last night. Yeah. Haven't had to reverse yet, so
This is good,
yeah, it's a start.
What kind of conditions are the stages like?
Sterndale was slippy, and the last one was pretty grippy, apart from there was a few holes on the inside. There was one massive puddle we went through and it just covered the whole windscreen in mud, so we couldn't see a thing, but apart from that it's fine, yeah.
For Warren Philliskirk and Nigel Hutchinson, it will be second. They have a small overshoot in one of the stages, but nothing that cost them much time. They had enough of a lead in that place themselves to not affect their second place. Much easier in the daylight, isn't it?
It was. We've had a nice morning. It's the weather's been fabulous. We've really enjoyed the stages. We had an offshoot in Langdale, but apart from that, we've had a good clean run. We've really enjoyed it.
Is it dusty out there?
No, it's not bad at all. No, we haven't encountered any dust. We haven't caught the car in front, fortunately. So no, it's been a really good morning. Thank you.
Jeremy Easton and Mike Reynolds were enjoying the stages, suiting them and the car well. They lie in third place for now and have a healthy advantage in that place. Having a good run out this morning?
Oh, that was good. If ever there was a Datsun stage, Langdale's it. So proper job in there, very good.
Proper long straight.
Yeah, we could use it to its best potential there. Oh, ideal, no good.
Just behind them will be Terry Cree and Richard Shaw's in the BMW. The gap to third may not be within reach, but it wasn't going to stop them trying. Things going well for you today?
Yeah, not bad. Rough, slippy, but never mind, it's how it goes.
Rallying, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Pretty good conditions out there as well today.
Yeah, they're all right, it's good, yeah. I mean, I say it is rough in places, and you know, you come into breaking points and it just bounces and takes the steering wheel out of your hand, but never mind. We've got it here, so we keep going.
Things were improving for Mark Tugwell and Steve Pugh, making back some of the time after last night's problem. They lie in 5th place in the category and 3rd in the class. How are things going?
Yeah, better today. Yeah. Making some time back.
Good. Does that help that it's daylight, do you think?
No.
Just a bit more into it today.
Yeah. I was probably enjoying it too much in the dark, so
Plans for this afternoon?
just carry on.
As is Tej Parr and Alistair Crook, we're still getting used to the new car. A bit easier now the stages were in the daylight. They end this loop with 6th place in the category. Things going well though?
No, it's good. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a great stage that.
Oh, it's awesome. It's really, I mean, rallying itself is awesome, you know?
Yeah.
It's good to be out again.
Yes. How are the stages feeling? A bit slippery this morning or?
No, nice. It was good. They were good. It's
The car?
The car's good. The driver's a bit, old.
There wouldn't be any change in this morning's stages for Stuart and Linda Carris. They remain 3rd place in the C2 class as well as 7th in the category. And for Malcolm Bayliss and Siobhan Pugh, it would be 8th place, feeling they needed a bit more power and bravery for these stages. So at the end of stage 3 in the Capital Construction Category 2, the results at the top look like this. Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners. Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners. No change in the Category 1 battle this morning as Bob Bean and Captain Thompson bring the car back to service in the lead of the category and their class. Now then, how are things going today?
Yeah, very good so far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about that run compared to the dark stages?
Well, I enjoyed the dart very much, and but it's been good. Yes.
And for Phil Harris and Paul Kendrick, it would be second place still. The finish was the main aim this weekend and things were going to plan up to now. So at this stage in the Vintage Car Radiator Company Category 1, the times look like this. During this season, we've taken a look at some of our TV partners, and the championship rounds off its season at the local event for one of our sponsors, Swift Leisure. Pete Smith may not have been a contender on the last 2 rounds of the championship, but the input from Swift can be seen right through the series and indeed in rallying beyond the BHRC. A regular competitor in the series in a variety of cars over the years himself, Pete also supports the rallying of others, most recently lending one of his cars to Rob Smith to compete on the Isle of Man a few weeks back. And of course, as well as the top level of British historic rallying, Swift Leisure also recently announced its involvement at the top level of modern British rallying, with the team entering the British Rally Championship in the hands of Matt Edwards, himself having competed in a Swift-backed car in the BHRC on Rally North Wales earlier in the season. On to the next loop of stages, and we unfortunately lose Matthew Robinson when a prop shaft issue means he doesn't make it out of service, which means that the lead now belongs to Steve Bennett and Paul Spooner, happy with the pace and leading with a 28-second advantage. Still going well for you today?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yeah, brake. We changed the rear tyres that time, went on to the harder compound tyres, and a lot better under braking. The car wasn't moving around so much, so yeah, it was a little bit better. We're a minute faster than we were last night with no pace notes. So
for Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark, it will be second, still trying to balance the speed on the stages to ensure the championship victory this weekend. Things going all right?
Yeah, not too bad. I had a bit of stick for going a bit slow earlier on this morning, but that's how it is. But no, we're getting through. It's just 2 more to go now, and can't wait to see the finish line.
Chris Skill and Tom Jordan put on a good show through the stage, enjoying themselves and now rounding out the podium places in the category. Still going strong?
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that was the same stage as last night. We did all right. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's put a bit of a show on for the spectators as well, so enjoyed it.
No problems in this stage for Mark and Ed Bentley today. They have a good run through the stage to end this loop with 4th place. Things in that stage?
Good. Yeah. It's getting a little bit cut up, but we put right the wrongs of last night, and I think we've had a good run through there. Yeah.
It would all change in the D3 class battle though, as Sean Rayner and Declan Deere now lead the way. They have a few moments, all down to pushing hard for that class win this weekend. How was that then?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really enjoyed that. Found the limit a couple of times. Had a bit of a moment on one of the corners, but. Yeah, we're pushing on now and it all feels good. So much different to last night. We're smiling, so it's good.
What's the big difference, do you think?
I think we put some harder tyres on, but also we let the pressures down quite a lot. I think we was just running the pressures too high last night. And just getting the confidence back on the gravel, I think, after Isle of Man.
Barry Stevenson-Wheeler and John Pickavance were finding the stages a little bumpy in places, so they would need to watch they don't get caught out. Things were going well for the pair, though, as they lie in 6th place. Having a good run out today?
Yeah, still enjoying it. Seems to be going well. Car's going well. It's a bit bumpy in places, so I think easy to perhaps get caught out, but yeah, it's good.
Sadly for Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons, this would be a stage to forget. The pair spin the car in here not once but twice, each time having to perform a time-consuming manoeuvre to get the car going again. This of course wasn't going to help the class battle. They now lie 15 seconds back from Rayner up in the class lead. It wasn't over yet, but they certainly hadn't made things easy for themselves going into the final pair of stages. Stage didn't go as well as last night, or?
No, not very happy. Spun twice in there, so we had to stop and reverse out of one and go down the road and turn in the other one.
Do you think that you were just pushing too hard?
Yeah, just having a good go, and too hard obviously.
Phil and Mick Squires were still enjoying the stages, so much so that they wanted to start it all again this afternoon. For now, it will be 8th place for the pair. in?
Oh yeah, it's getting better now. It really is.
Getting into it today.
Yeah. It'd be nice if we could go back out tonight and do what we're doing now, because the feeling's coming back. It's getting good. It's getting more exciting.
Was that stage better than doing it in the dark last night?
Oh yes, because it's more in the swing of it now, and you can see into the distance and get a much better line, and it's very exciting. But it's nice to do both. Good to get in the swing last night. Good to do it again in the light and the sunshine today. Yeah.
And rounding out the top 10 were Rex Island and Adrian Scadding. No more problems to report in the middle loop of the day. How are things going?
Yeah, good. Bit better now. We're getting over it. Got the latest driver side in here, see?
Very high tech.
Yeah, that's right. So it suits us. Yeah, no, it's good.
So you're getting into it a bit more?
Yes, yeah, really enjoying it. I mean, we've enjoyed it right through, really, but yeah, it's been good.
We'll see you at the end.
Yeah.
Things were still going to plan for Mike Tompkinson and Sian Whitehurst, keeping the car in one piece and rounding out the top 10 in the category now.
Certainly a lot better through there with lights than last night, so that was a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, I think we've just decided, having lost so much time last night, we're really just going to use today for a bit of seat time to warm up for Rally GB, hopefully.
Good. Obviously you're protecting the car, you're being a bit cautious ahead of that.
No, very cautious. Instead of being last of the late breakers, I'm definitely first of the early breakers, it seems.
And Paul Holmes and Steve Link round out the results in 11th place, lying 5th in the D5 class as well. So as we cross into the final leg of the event, the results in the RSR Historic Engineering Category 3 look like this. In Category 2, there would be 42 seconds of an advantage at the top now for Adam Milner and Roy Jarvis. Things were still going exactly as planned for the pair. Things still going well for you?
Yeah, still going well, touch wood. Yeah. We were 44 seconds quicker on that stage than last night. Good. So pretty good.
I think it just helps being in daylight.
Yeah, and not going the wrong way helps as well.
Now that you know the stage. And what about the car? How's it feel?
Feels really good, yeah. Nice. It's quick and it's handling brilliant, so no excuses.
Still no change to the place for Warren Philliskirk and Nigel Hutchinson. They lose a small amount of time with a fuel issue, but nothing that caused them any places on the results. Did you enjoy that stage today more than last night then?
Well, it was good last night, but yes, we enjoyed it today, but we had to queue up a lot at the start and we got some fuel vaporisation, so we got 300 yards and the car virtually stopped till it got some cooler fuel, and then off we went again, and so we lost quite a bit of time there. But it is, but not to worry, that's the name of the game.
Jeremy Easton and Mike Reynolds will find this stage tiring. A rest in service should help, but for now they lie in 3rd place in the category. You're looking pretty exhausted.
That has totally worn me out. It's only 10 miles, but it felt like 20. My word, what a stage. A bit rough in places, but fantastic.
People have said it's getting quite cut up in there.
It is, and there's a few potholes starting to appear, but at the end of the day, it's still a cracking stage. Really, really good.
Suits the car well.
Yeah, the bumps don't affect it too much, and what straights there are in there, we capitalise on. So no, it's gone well. It's gone well.
We'll see you at the end.
Hopefully.
Things were still getting better as the day went on for Mark Tugwell and Steve Pugh. 4th place for the pair, but they did have to watch out for the challenge from behind. How are things going now then?
Yeah, better and better.
Better, good.
Nice day.
Good. Slowly improving.
That's what I'm saying.
There'd be a close battle between Tugwell and the BMW of Terry Cree and Richard Shaw's. 9 seconds was the difference, so there was still a place to play for. The seat time in the new car was still going well for Aziz Tejpar and Alistair Crook, 5th place now and 2nd in the class. And for Stuart and Linda Carris, it would be 3rd place in that class. No change overall as they remain in 6th place in the category. And no change either for Malcolm Bayliss and Siobhan Pugh. They get to the end of this loop with 7th place in the category and 4th in the C2 class. So with just 2 more stages to go in the Capital Construction Category 2, the results at the top look like this. Back to Category 1 then, and there will be no change in this loop. Bob Bean and Captain Thompson continue to lead the way and without any issues. And for Phil Harris and Paul Kendrick, it would be second. And we caught up with Phil to ask him about his involvement as a TV partner in the 2016 BHRC. But before we hear from Phil, here's a reminder of the results in the Vintage Car Radiator Company Category 1 at this stage of the event.
Commercially, for a sponsor like Harris & Co, what does the championship offer?
Well, it's just a really great series for the enthusiast. It's just got fantastic cars in it, it's got fantastic drivers, they're wonderful events, wonderful stages. It's just got everything you could ask for in a championship. For us, it really just enhances and reinforces our presence as a leading advisor in the motorsport sector, and it's just the whole kind of just prestige of the series just enhances our standing as a sponsor.
Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners. Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners. Back to the rallying then, and the final results. And for Phil Harris and Paul Kendrick, it would be a finish, second in the category and a class win for the pair. But this weekend it will be the win for Bob Bean and Captain Thompson, a good result and a final win for the car before it undergoes a major rebuild over the winter season. So before we catch up with our winner, here's a reminder of the final times in the Vintage Car Radiator Company Category 1. Congratulations, Bob Bean. You must be feeling quite pleased with yourself.
I am, yes. Yes.
How did today go then?
Very well, really. We had a couple of overshoots, but that was it. You know, and the cars run absolutely spotless. It's been fantastic.
I just noticed that you had a little nodding head dog in the back of your car.
Yes.
I can imagine at times today that dog was probably nodding faster than others. There was a few really fast bits in the stages today, weren't there?
Yes,
that
yeah,
car
yeah.
perfect.
Well, his head was back. You could see that.
Is that the co-driver or the nodding dog?
Well, co-driver probably as well. Thank you.
In Category 2, there wouldn't be much change in the results. Malcolm Bayliss and Siobhan Pugh end the event with 8th place in the category and 4th in their class. Stuart and Linda Carris would be the ones to finish ahead of them and take the final podium place in the C2 class this weekend with their 7th place finish. As is Tej Power and Alistair Crook get to grips with the new car this weekend to end the event with 6th place and with plenty to take away with them ready for the next event. Terry Cree and Richard Shaw's don't manage to gain a place in this final loop, having to settle for 5th. It does, however, get them a class win this weekend. So for Mark Tugwell and Steve Pugh, the result this weekend was a good one, considering the slightly second-hand looking car, 4th place for the pair and 3rd place in the class. No problems for Jeremy Easton and Mike Reynolds. They round out the podium in Category 2 and the times were good, just over a minute off the category lead. It was a good run this weekend for Warren Philliskirk and Nigel Hutchinson on the home stages, 2nd place at the finish and 39 seconds back from the lead. But that win this weekend would go to Adam Milner and Roy Jarvis. They take the victory in the category and a result that would also have put them in the top of the overall historic rally results. So before we chat to our winner, a reminder of the results in the Capital Construction Category 2 this weekend. So Adam, a category win here today. Congratulations, how are you feeling?
Over the moon, yeah, it just feels weird to actually finish a rally.
I know, I've not seen you this far on. It's kind of been a long time coming for you. Obviously the last round of the championship this year, the speed's always been there, you just haven't always managed to get to the finish.
Yeah, that's it. We haven't had a clean run since the Malton rally last year. The Severn Valley last rally, we crashed on the last stage when we were leading the category. So that was really disappointing. And then the Pirelli, the gear stick fell off on the first stage. Apart from that, we went really quick. So yeah, it just feels good to get a clean run and get a finish.
Yeah,
and
what was
open
it?
my first bottle of champagne.
This is the thing, you stink of it. What was it about this round, do you think, the last round of the championship, that made you something just click in the car or in you?
My dad bollocked me and said, make sure you don't crash it. So, and it's my local event, and I know some of the roads quite well from push biking, so it gives you the edge, I suppose.
So that helps.
Yeah.
All we need to do now is get you a bit of PR training so you don't swear next time. Well done.
Yeah, that's it.
On to category 3, and we sadly lose Paul Holmes and Steve Link in stage 5 with engine failure. So that means it's Mike Tompkinson and Sean Whitehurst rounding out the results with 10th place in the category and 5th in the class. Next stop for them will be Rally GB, and we wish them the best of luck there. Sadly for Chris Skill and Tom Jordan, a good result overall was ruined when the pair spent 2 minutes in a ditch. They do still finish though, and with a class win. Rex Ireland and Adrian Scadding have a steady run to the finish to end this event with 8th place in the category and 3rd in the D3 class. No problems for Phil and Mick Squires. They would have been happy to go and do it all again in the dark now, but they finished with 7th place in the category and 4th in the class. Sadly for Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons, the damage had been done with those spins in the middle loop of the day. They end the event with 6th place, but sadly miss out on the D3 class win. No problems for Barry Stevenson Wheeler and John Pickavants as they get to the end of the event with 5th place in the category and 3rd in the D5 class. A good result here this weekend for Sean Rayner and Declan Deere. They take the D3 class win, and with it they take the class win for the season too. A good end to the year for the pair. Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark do what they needed to do this weekend. They get to the finish with 3rd place overall, and the result will be enough to retain the championship title for a 2nd year running.
Dip, through the dip and leftish over crest jump, 100, care ahead slowing for dip and 6 left, 40, well done, 3 right long, fast, 60 over the finish, then 300. Well done.
Cheers, Phil.
Well done.
Cheers,
well
mate.
done. Not going to say anything at the moment.
No, got to get back to the finish yet.
Mark and Ed Bentley gradually increased the pace as the day went on, and they end the event with 2nd place this weekend. But for the final round, it would be the win for Steve Bennett and Paul Spooner, taking victory by 47 seconds at the end of the event and ending the season on a high. So before we chat to our winner, here's a reminder of the final overall results. So Steve, am I right in thinking this is your first win of the year on the last round of the championship?
It is indeed, yeah, that was the plan.
Was it really?
It was, yeah. I said to Dave Jenkins, who builds a car, I said we'll win one before the end of the year, so that was the plan.
Congratulations, you did it. What was it about today, do you think, that made you just pull your finger out?
I don't know, I always go well up here. I like these stages. We had a few niggles with the car, as everybody does with every event, but we managed to get through them and kept it clean and tidy.
Which is hard on a gravel event. It was quite slippery last night, and rallying in the dark, not easy.
I like it in the dark. I was brought up around the lanes in Wales with the road rallying, so my eyes, fortunately, are still good. Probably the best part of my body, to be honest, my eyes. So, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it in the dark, though. We had some intercom gremlins last night, so, as I said to you last night, it didn't make the grounds that we hoped to last night, but old and wise and stuck in there and got it to the end, and it proved to be good.
Yeah, well, you managed to pull it out of the bag in the end. Do you think you're going to go into next year's championship, hopefully with this winning streak?
Hopefully, yeah, we can go a bit quicker next year. We've been a work in progress. Every event we've got slightly quicker, and just to be 1 second behind Banner on the last stage was quite encouraging.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, Jason, you're here in one piece, which means congratulations, you are 2016 British Historic Rally Championship winner.
Thank you very much. Yeah, halfway through the year on Epping, I thought that was it, the championship over, but we kept our heads and just kept the finishes, and today we just had to get around. It was the weirdest day rallying I've ever done. It's driving so slow, we're having a conversation, and what was that last night? Oh, and it was so weird, but thankful we made it.
That was obviously just the aim of the game today, to make it to the end. You were never really prepared to push that much, but you have pushed a lot this year. You know, you are quite deserving of this title.
Yeah, thank you. You know, when we had to push, we did, and as you say, we've done all the hard work. We literally just had to finish today. I made it difficult for myself, but you know, it's thanks to people like my parents at North Road Garage, FCS Laser Mail, and Pirelli, all the boys that helped me. You know, there's a lot of people behind the scenes, not just me and Phil in the car. You know, it's Viking Motorsport. There's a lot of hours go into what we do at the weekend.
Yeah. And obviously lots of ups this year, but plenty of downs as well. What were kind of the worst bits of the year, do you think?
Obviously the offs on the ice, and then the next event just going a bit wide, you know, silly mistake by me, and then the engine going, you know, it's I was walking up a bank trying to get phone signal on airpin, and it was a total low. I just thought it's not possible now, but you know, we kept to it, and as I say, we kept the heads, and we're here.
Here you are, exactly,
Yeah.
well done.
Thank you.
So Jason Pritchard makes it back here to Scampston Hall in one piece, which means he is British Historic Rally Championship winner for 2016. What a year of historic rallying it's been, and what an event it's been here at Rally Yorkshire. Thank you so much for keeping it special stage. We'll see you next year.
Coverage of the BHRC is brought to you by our TV partners.